welcome to my live stream this week. So I am actually going to be doing this live and doing my workout at the same time. It's not going to be very fancy because my computer that's controlling the live stream is actually over there right now. So I'm probably just going to get started and get right into it. So first I'm going to start my workout on here. And because my computer is way over there, I don't think I'm going to have a way to pop out the live chat, but let me just see. Well, maybe I might be able to do this. Okay, I think I might actually have it. I just won't be able to see if I'm still streaming, but hopefully it'll be okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna pop in. And so I don't know if you guys can see that, but I've got my indoor cycle, so I'm just gonna hit that. And I guess it would help if we plug this in, or I'm not gonna get very far. I'm just also hoping that my cord doesn't get in the way, because otherwise that could get a little dangerous too, but I have to put it way out so that I could actually see. So yeah, we're good to go. I'm already 20 seconds into this and I haven't even started yet. So let's just get going here and then I will get into the program. So I am currently using Facebook to stream this. I have been wondering actually if one of the reasons why my streams don't get a ton of views right off the start, well, number one, I'm small, but number two, on YouTube, the reason why I can even go live before 1,000 subscribers is because I've actually verified my account. So I'm gonna try actually doing some lives to Facebook just for something different. Now first, before I get going here, I do actually wanna crank up the resistance just to increase. Now, with me talking, I should actually be able to keep my heart rate up enough, but yeah. So there's gonna be no intro or anything because I have the screen over there. So yeah, and I'm hoping actually that I have enabled something called Center Stage on my Mac. So I'm hoping that I'm actually in the center here if it's actually following me. It should be, but I don't know. I'm completely winging this, so it's gonna go up on my YouTube channel no matter what. So yeah. So I thought I would actually use this to talk a little bit about workouts and all of that and how I managed to do it with migraines. And I keep forgetting I have a microphone on me, so I don't really need to project my voice all that much. It's just weird. So yeah, now, because I have my phone on a tripod, I'm not sure how much I'm gonna be actually able to show. So yeah, if I was just doing this as a workout, I would be listening to music, listening to an audiobook, or listening to a podcast usually. It does make it a little bit easier to manage and all of that. So yeah. Anyways, so I want to get into a bit. Now I'm going to be panting, of course, because my heart rate's at 148. So there's going to be a little bit of a rough, maybe breathing, but so I want to get into what I'm going to be talking about, or my plans for this year, because I've been on a couple weeks of break now, and I do that every Christmas just so that I have time to spend with my family, but I also do it so that I can get a little bit of a reset with my creativity, because doing videos week in and week out, you're constantly wanting to change and make things better, and how can I increase my content without increasing my burnout kind of thing, if that's a thing that happens, which honestly, burnout does happen for me to a certain degree, so I think that is something that I probably should mention. It does happen. It's funny actually, because I absolutely love doing video content, but you just feel like the videos get repetitive after a certain period of time. So part of this is what I would love to do is have a video that's a little bit more background, kind of like right now, that's maybe live streamed to Facebook and or YouTube. I probably will mix it up if this ends up working out okay. The reason why I'm using actually OBS is because it allows me to save a recording without having to record the screen. So that's also really important, and I thought that that would be a way so that I can cross-post this across multiple platforms. Now, with locals, I'm only given so much storage every month because of where I am in the tiers. Like, they're just a brand new company. They don't have the servers and the storage like what these big companies do. So that means that there's probably going to be times when I have to choose which video, if I do multiple videos a week, get posted. Now, what I'm hoping to do is kind of do something more like this. It's a little bit more intimate with you guys, and then do a podcast that's talking about something that is of important topic with migraines, whether that's something that comes up or all of that, and kind of have it as just an uploaded video, kind of like what the podcast is when it's finished, and then have that one go up to the podcast, because I'm not posting this to the podcast. It'll sound terrible because of me huffing and puffing on the bike here, so I don't really want to do that. And yeah, so now this video will get uploaded like a regular video to YouTube, and I think how I'm going to do it is that it's not going to be edited. I'm just going to post whatever recording there is, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. Like, it's just heads in too much editing to have to add in and do the editing for that. So I'm not going to be posting this to the podcast or to locals probably. I think with locals I'll just share the YouTube link. So yeah, I don't know yet, but and then I'd like to do one that's obviously a podcast that is talking about something important in terms of everything that I talk about, which is like what I was doing kind of for the weeks before leading up to the new year. And the reason why I want to do that is because I'm able to record exactly like this with OBS, but instead of clicking the go live and it starts recording, because that's how I have my settings set, it'll actually allow me to just record the video and then edit it as normal in Final Cut, and then I can post it as a regular video, and then you're not having to sit through me trying to think up different things or having trouble with videos or all of that stuff, and you can just kind of enjoy that content as if you were listening to the podcast itself. Because what I was doing was I was streaming to YouTube, editing it down for Facebook and locals, Instagram. I know that with Instagram that you pretty much need to caption it, and with these podcasts being, often 20 minutes to half an hour, I don't have the time to do that. I don't have the time like I did before to do all of that type of content, so I don't want to be doing that. That's just the reality of the situation. So yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing with that, and it's awesome. Now, ideally, I get a streaming software that I'd be able to stream to all my platforms live, and then people can join wherever they want to join, but that costs a little bit too much right now to do. So you can use a software called, I believe it's called Restream, that will allow you to do multiple platforms at once. And I mean, it's a good idea in theory, but practically right now it's just not in the cards. So yeah, that's just the way it is. So yeah, that's kind of my idea with doing this. Now, I'm not going to show my workouts every week, but I just kind of wanted to get on the bike and talk about my workouts, because sorry guys, I'm like sneezing on me now. Okay, so I wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about workouts because this can be a really, really difficult thing for people with IIH who are still on the path of, I think it might be weight related, or losing weight will probably help overall. And getting into this topic about weight, for me, it's not just the fact that I do think the reason why I'm in remission is because of weight loss. It's the fact that if it wasn't related, it's helped in so many other areas, I don't really care. That's kind of where I'm at with that. So that's just the situation too. So with that kind of being said, I don't really know how to describe this. It's kind of a matter of discipline, I think, and finding something that you enjoy. So I absolutely love being on the bike. It's very, very weird talking to the camera like this while I'm on the bike because I know I'm sounding like I'm probably out of breath. I mean, I'm going at what I was before Christmas, and quite frankly, haven't worked out really all that much since then. So one of the things that I don't really like to admit, but is true, is that when I have my period, I don't do a workout. And it's not because I'm worried about anything or I believe in any taboos or anything about working out during your period. It's the fact that I often don't feel well enough to work out when I have my period, because that's when I'm usually feeling the worst. Now, it's ironic in a way with the workouts because often I get into such a space and such a flow state with these that it can feel like I'm hardly not even doing anything at all to begin with. So like, it can feel like it is, how do I want to word this? I get into such a flow state that it doesn't really feel like I'm doing any work. Like, so according to this, I've been going now for about 11 minutes or so. Yeah, about 11 minutes. And it's felt like about 3, to be honest. Like, it hasn't really felt long at all. Now, if I was to do this with just, if I was to just do this without talking to a camera or without any music or podcasting, I could see it being a little bit rough. So it is nice to be able to have something to listen to or do while you're actually on the bike, which I normally don't talk like this, but if I am listening to music, I will often sing. So you're probably wondering like, oh my goodness, how can you talk like that? And it's because I train that way. I actually find it burns more calories, but it's just so much fun. You just find this flow state that is hard to describe. But another reason why I don't want this on the audio podcast is because it's just gonna sound like me fighting for breath, basically. So yeah, I mean, if you guys are watching right now, I can't really tell. I can't really see the analytics from here. But if you're watching, you can leave a comment. I can actually read the comments. It's the analytics I can't see. But yeah, so anyways, it's about finding your flow state. It's about finding something that you enjoy. It's about finding something, in my opinion, that you can be consistent with. And I actually find that, like I said, losing weight is really, really hard. Maintaining weight loss, though, is even harder, and all of that. Now, if you find something that you can enjoy that's a really, really good activity for you to do, it's great. But if it's hard for you to find something that you really enjoy, it can be a really big struggle. Now, I'm trying to remember. I think I had an Apple Watch when I was in the majority of my weight loss, and then after that I kind of got rid of it for a while, and now I have it again, and it's really interesting to me, actually. So it's nice because you can monitor your heart rate, make sure it's not going too crazy and all of that. I mean, my heart rate is pretty high, honestly, right now, like compared to where it normally is. it's definitely spiked. Now, I haven't actually watched my heart rate during the live show, so I'm not really sure if it's partly because of that, along with the workout, or if it's just from not having done a workout in the recent weeks. But like I said, I'm pretty bad sometimes at getting in these workouts. It just depends on how I'm feeling. And because I'm really only doing it now to try and stay in shape, and my job is pretty active, honestly, I'm not as fussy with my workouts as I used to be, when the only way I was really getting much activity at all was the workouts. Was a lot more strict with it. But back in the day, it was end of 2018 when I was kind of first diagnosed with migraines. I think I was actually probably working out to the extent of too much. So it was actually causing problems rather than being helpful. I think I was actually putting my body into a state of just overwork and stress, because I had so much trouble for the first several months of just trying to lose weight. And I was counting calories at that point. I was under the care of a dietitian. Not quite, maybe at that point. But it was not an easy time, and it was really frustrating. I think I stayed the same weight no matter what I tried for, it was at least 2.5, 3 months. And then all of a sudden the weight came off, and it started to come off steadily. But it was, I don't know if I was overworking myself or what was going on, but it was definitely not the ideal thing of what it usually is. And now it's almost like it's hard to keep sometimes. It's amazing how easy it is for me, in my opinion, to keep weight off. I really don't struggle with it at all, as long as I'm continuing to stick to those lifestyle modifications that I've talked about. So I find not so much the workouts are the most important thing nowadays. It's the don't drink your calories, don't just eat whatever you want kind of thing, and be vigilant. I don't count calories, but I'm vigilant about what I'm taking in for calories, if that makes sense. So try to make it as easy on myself as possible. Now I'm gonna try and do a little bit more with regards to what I eat, because I have a lot of people curious about the gluten-free stuff. Now, before, just a disclaimer about being gluten-free, it has nothing to do with my IIH or migraines. This is something that I did as an elimination diet, it's 10.5 years ago now. I was nowhere near to being diagnosed with IIH or migraines. I didn't have chronic headaches at all back then. I think the only time I ever got a headache was when I had a sinus infection or something. So it is not the typical, that's for sure. It's not something that's related at all for me. And I actually find that being gluten-free can restrict you a lot, in the fact of, if you have a problem eating out, kind of cutting that habit, maybe it might help. But in terms of calorie intake, it's not going to do very much, because if you just substitute the gluten-free junk foods for whatever you're having now, there's so many options now that you're not going to get very far with that. So it's nothing to do with weight, and I don't think people should be using it for weight loss at all. Now, I've actually heard some people say, and I don't know if this is true, and I don't really like talking about this much because I don't have much background in diet and all of that for me to feel comfortable that I'm giving out the right information, but I have heard that the substitutes used for gluten-free stuff nowadays can actually cause problems because it spikes your blood sugar even more. So I don't know how true that is. I don't know. It'll likely be on the glycemic index or whatever, and I don't really know how much that relates to all of this. But if you guys want some really, really good advice and tips on weight loss and maintaining weight, Dr. Peter Attia is a really, really good resource, and all of that. There's really good people that you can follow that have actually helped me not only with weight loss, not so much the weight loss, I kind of did that by myself before I even found a lot of these people, but just on how to maintain weight and all of that. And I'm going to get into the meditation here quickly too, because I do think it actually has been a pretty big factor in maintaining weight loss, because I don't know what it's doing, but my resting heart rate lately has been very low, like to the point where it's almost like I'm an elite athlete, like low 50s. I actually sometimes wonder if my watch is on me correctly because of how low my heart rate is. Like, I'm not feeling any symptoms, so I'm not really that worried about it, but it's just interesting to see how relaxed I really am. And I know, I'm absolutely 100% convinced that it is the meditation that allows me to stay fairly stress-free, which I think does help with just everything overall. Like, there's so much that is intertwined, and over time, because like, so I've changed a lot of things slowly, and maybe like one or two things at a time, and because it's been like a few years now, it's hard to remember everything that I've done. And I think another piece of advice I kind of give myself at this point is that you need to change things slowly and not go for it all at once, because it'll just make you frustrated if you do try to do everything at once. And it's almost like a passport to not being successful if you only do it once too, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think that's really important to mention too, that like, it's not just changing one or two things, and it's not about changing everything all at once. It's slowly making changes over time that slowly add up to be what works for you, is kind of how I think I'd go back and talk to myself about that. So yeah, it's something that is very difficult to talk about, because it feels like it was so long ago, if you know what I mean. So when it comes to like calorie management, a few of the things that I do is like, I have one day a week where I'll drink something with calories in it. Otherwise I'm drinking water or tea. I don't drink coffee. I hate coffee. It's gross. It's disgusting. I don't even like the smell of coffee. I'm sorry if that offends some people, but I've never liked it, and I don't like the smell of it, so I'm not about to try it now. I actually get a lot of surprise looks on people's faces when they hear that I've been through a degree like biochemistry and been through 4 years of university that intense and have never drank coffee, because most people like can't even function without their caffeine. So I mean, I get it, but that's just how I am. Like, and I really only also drink tea if I'm sick. So like, I really don't like things that are hot, because I have a very sensitive mouth. I've actually burned my mouth a couple of times on hot stuff, so it's really, really sensitive to temperature, which is good because you don't want to be burning your mouth all the time, but it sucks kind of, because the only time I really, really like something that's really, really warm, this applies to soup as well, is like when it's below minus 25 outside. That's Celsius for anyone watching in the US. So yeah, it's just crazy how that is. It just adds up. Actually, this is going really, really fast. I've never done a live on my bike before, so yeah. Let's see what else is kind of stuff that I do. So I'm on the bike right now, but when I was in the majority of my weight loss, I did something called Zumba Fitness, which is kind of probably why I like to dance and learn choreography, is because that's essentially what that is. And it's all right. And I actually enjoyed it so much that I thought about becoming an instructor at one point. Not sponsored, but or anything. Like, this is just the stuff I've used. What I like about it is it's a total body thing, and you do burn quite a bit of calories, and it's a lot of fun. But I only really have like video games and DVDs of it, so I found it's gotten really repetitive, and I can mix up the bike enough that I don't get really bored of it. And I find that it's a constant, I just like kind of just hopping on the bike and going for like, 30-35 minutes. Today I'm gonna go for my 30 minutes. I'm gonna take you through a full workout. So I'm at about, let's see where I'm at, 24 minutes. So what I do is I go until about 30 minutes and 30 seconds at the full resistance, because I start the resistance at about 25-30 seconds into the workout. It'd be better if I could actually show you this, but so yeah, it's 30 minutes with the resistance. I'm at a resistance of 7, so this thing has a magnetic resistance thing on it, and it makes it so that you're almost climbing a hill the whole time. Now, it makes the legs really sore if I don't stretch properly, so what I'll do 30 minutes of that, and then what I'll do is about a 30-second sprint, and then I'll just kind of wave it out for about, it's about a minute or so, half a minute to a minute, and then I'll get into my cool down. And yeah, so that's kind of what the goal of that is. And I've actually I think I've actually shown my cool down before, but I think I'll still use it as just a way to talk to you guys. I'll have to move the video thing a bit and all of that. So yeah, I'm just hoping this is okay in terms of where it is. I set it up in the right spot, so I'm hoping that it looks okay. I made sure it looked okay before I went live, so yeah, but hopefully it's actually finding me and all of that. So looks like it is though. Can't really see it moving. I've also got it on my gimbal too to keep it from like really moving around a bunch. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now. Just trying to think about what else, if there's anything to talk about. I don't really know if I have much else to say. I'm just gonna have a bit more water. Sorry, I guess if my hair looks a little bit ugly and messy too this morning, but there's no point in me having a shower, getting all pretty before doing a workout, because I have to have another shower when I'm done anyways, because I get all sweaty. And I'm actually wearing pants today because I wasn't sure where the camera would be, and yeah, so I didn't really want to wear shorts just in case. Plus, it was a little chilly down here in the basement this morning, so I didn't really want to wear shorts just in case it got too cold, but actually it's not all that bad. Looks like we're at about 27 minutes now anyways, which that went really fast, honestly. So in terms of like how fast I'm pedaling, I'm between at about 11 and 12 miles an hour right now, which is a little bit slower, but you gotta remember I haven't been on the bike very much in the last couple weeks. So I've gone about 5 miles, which if I'm around 6 is around normal for a half an hour workout, which is great. So that I'm really happy about. Sorry if you can hear the beeping, but got my thing attached. So I'm just trying to think if I have anything else I really want to say about the workouts. I would actually like to have a better way of doing kind of body weight training, but one of the things that I found with having migraines is whenever I dip my head like this or am on my hands and knees like for a really long period of time, I still get dizzy. I used to think it was a side effect of the acetazolamide or maybe something to deal with something else, but it's something that's never went away. So like things that I used to do that I absolutely loved was like weight training with yoga. Like yoga would be really good now as a way to bring some mindfulness into my workouts as well, but things like down dog, not gonna happen.
Exercise ring closed.
There we go, got my exercise ring for the day. I think it's cute how it talks to you. I find that with the watch, it only does that with the exercise ring. That's really interesting. But yeah, what else is up? Yeah, just I would like to have a little bit more of a way to do weight training, because weight training, I think, just is something that I enjoy, and it mixes up the workouts a bit. But besides doing my Zumba workouts, which get really repetitive because I only have the one with the weights, it just isn't working. So I need to find something that I can kind of work on towards that. But with this being resistance right here, I do find like I'm training my weight, like my legs. It's just like with like something for my arms, just because it'd be nice to have something for the arms. So yeah, I'm just gonna see where I'm at here. So I'm at about 30 minutes now, which is great. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I think that might be it for like the actual in terms of the bike. I'm just gonna talk my way through this last little bit here about how I do this ending. I normally don't really, like, I usually have my phone up here, so I actually go by my watch more, but because I actually started my workout before I had the bike plugged in, I'm going by this today. So we're at the time now, so I go back to 1, and this is more so to pick up the extra distance that I kind of missed during the harder parts of the workout. So I just kind of go as fast as I can. It's just kind of a little bit of HIIT training or high intensity training, just get the heart rate up a little bit. Okay, and then I slow it down. I didn't really go that hard, honestly, that time. Oh well. Okay, and now I'm just gonna let it slowly slow down, and then I'll get up and I will try and show the actual thing here, and then yeah, so okay, that's where we're gonna stop. And then so 251 calories, a little high, honestly. I think the watch is a little bit more closer. And then about 5.8 miles, which isn't bad considering I was talking that whole time. So I'm just actually gonna flip out of here for a second and just go to here. So yeah, I'm just gonna back this up because I need the space. So I'm going to go through my actual cool down. Now I actually do need a timer for this. So I'm gonna actually stop my workout. I normally don't, but we're gonna end this. And actually before that, I'm actually going to bring you over here and just try and, so there we go. There's where that ended for today. And yeah, so that's where that is now. Just gonna see if it'll follow me. I don't think it's going to. It's not really that clever. I wish it had the same ability as what the DJI Mimo app has altogether, but unfortunately it doesn't. So yeah. So I'm gonna take you through my cool down now. So I do need a timer for this, and timer, actually stopwatch is better probably. So what I do is a full body stretch. So I start with up here. I'm actually just gonna, yeah. I'm not gonna do that stretch today. My shirt's a little bit small, so just gonna do this one. I might do a couple of those when I'm actually done, but just so when I'm doing my stretching, this is just so that my muscles don't hurt as bad. And I find that if I don't do this stretching, it becomes a massive problem tomorrow. So, like, the shower helps a little bit to an extent, but yeah, so I'm just gonna. So, I usually do 15 seconds, and I usually keep a pretty close eye on this thing, but it can be a little hard. Especially with this, because it wants to, like. I usually do this with my phone, but I'm using my phone to record right now, so can't do that. And then it wants to, like, go to sleep without actually. I'm actually pretty good at judging the 15 seconds now, but it's still, like, sometimes really difficult. So then with you won't actually be able to see this, but I can't get it far enough away. But what I'm doing here, maybe I can actually tilt down, is like a stretch with my legs. So I do this, and then I pull it up like this. I've actually shown this in the vlog before. And then I just kind of, so I pull back, and then I go up with the hips basically. And then this, if I've counted correctly, or if I've watched my timer closely enough, it'll actually show it so that it's right on the 15, and then I should have 45 left for the other side. So then I just do it the opposite side. I'm not going to show the whole thing. I'm just going to talk while I'm doing this. Because at this point now, like, I've already had my recovery pretty much. It's more for my muscles that I actually do this part and all of that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna actually start the outro now. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you found it helpful and all of that. Now, obviously, equipment can limit you to a certain point and all of that, but I absolutely love my bike for so many different reasons, and it's nice to honestly have it and all of that. I'm just gonna do an extra stretch down here, I think. So yeah, it's really, really nice to have something I can just come and basically hop on. I'm just gonna unplug it actually, because it'll shut itself off even if it's plugged in. And so yeah, I mean, it's nice to have something that I can feel like I get a wide variety. And actually this one, if you want, these guys and all of that, like, a lot of modern bikes now come with like Bluetooth, so that you can actually like do have a similar version like what Peloton has, and you can do classes and all of that. I don't do that. Number one, I'm cheap, but number two, I just like doing my own thing, and that's just the way it is. So yeah, I don't know, it's just not for me basically. So yeah, I'm kind of doing this opposite because I don't really have a timer to tell. I might have to do some extra stretching when I'm done my live, just so that I don't risk getting hurt, like getting really sore, because I have to be able to work tomorrow. I should be fine. Like, there are some days where my legs are really, really tight just because of how much workouts I've been doing, but I find it doesn't bother me, and I'm actually not sore at all. I'm not really feeling the tightness at all this right now, so that's great. I'm actually really happy about that. It's really, really good when you get a workout that after a while that feels really, really good after you, like, when you're done, because it can be so hard to like find out exactly where you're caught up to. So yeah, that's really nice actually. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to like do my outro now. I'm not gonna go the full 9 minutes of what I normally do with the cool down, but if you guys are wanting to, so I'm just